Hi there, and welcome to Millennial Meals. On this episode, we'll be turning brisket trimmings into beef tallow. For ingredients, you'll just need the fat or trimmings from a brisket. For equipment, you'll want a cutting board or grinder, a knife, a pot with a burner, a jar, and a funnel with a paper filter. In this scenario, beef tallow is a product of us cooking fat trimmings from a brisket. Some folks throw away the trimmings, but like bone off of a ham or the shells off some crawfish, there's still a bit more flavor that we can get out of our food. In this case, I had a decent amount of brisket trimmings from 2 previous smoking sessions, so it was a perfect time to make some beef tallow. First, you're going to want to cut the fat into smaller pieces. This will make it easier to stir the pieces later. You can also grind up the fat as well, but I opted to cut up the fat for an easier cleanup later. Once you're satisfied with the sizes you have, throw them into a medium to large size pot. On the stovetop, you'll want to set your burner to low heat. On mine, I have a scale of 1 to 10, so I set it to a 3. This is a slow and steady process where you'll want to stir every so often to make sure all the pieces get cooked. As the pieces start to get more done or browner, you'll want to stir it more often to avoid burning those pieces of fat. As time goes on, the pieces will begin to shrink and you'll start seeing a clear liquid in your pot. This is the tallow that we're wanting. Once the fat trimmings start to look like pork rinds, you'll want to grab your jar or container. Put your funnel into the jar or over the container and place a paper oil filter in the funnel. This will help stop any small bits of brisket trimmings from getting inside that jar. Now, I'd say wait for the tallow to cool down a bit before pouring it into your jar, as we're dealing with hot oil and getting that on yourself is definitely no bueno. Once the temperature has gone down, you can start pouring your tallow into your jar. I was able to do this as the Lone Ranger, but if you're not feeling confident, I would suggest recruiting a friend to help with the pouring process. Once you're finished pouring your tallow, set that jar aside. You can either store it at room temperature or in the fridge. But obviously it will last longer in the fridge. As the tallow cools down, it'll start to solidify, but once you heat it up, it'll turn into a liquid once again. For me, I like frying my food with the beef tallow, such as using the oil to help cook popcorn, make french fries, fried chicken, or even some tortilla chips. Now, what to do with those leftover trimmings? Well, if you throw some salt on them, you basically have some pork rinds, or in this instance, beef rinds. You can either throw them away, or you can store them in the fridge for a nice tasty snack later. With that said, this is how you make beef tallow. Y'all stay safe and have a good one.